With popular TV renovation shows like The Block, it's easy for homeowners to get caught up with the romantics of renovation. But how do you make your budget go the distance? And what's the best way to spend it? Hello, I'm Bill McDonald. Welcome to Master the Market Weekly. Today, we're talking all things renovation. Hi and welcome to another episode of Master the Market Weekly, the episode I've been looking out for. We're going to talk all things renovation, expectation versus reality. Shows like The Block have got us all ripping down walls, but apparently there is one golden rule we are all forgetting about. Chris from Suncorp, can you shed a bit of light on that with data?
Yeah, absolutely. The Suncorp Home Index survey gives us some pretty clear insights. What we know is that 60% of renovators have done their homework. They've researched inspirational style that they're looking for. What we also know though is blowing the budget is the greatest fear. But despite that, 64% of would-be renovators do not have a clear budget plan.
Wow, 64%, that is astonishing. Jess Hogan from The Block 2015, I know it wouldn't work on my reno. That's got to be a rookie error.
Yeah, it doesn't work on anyone's reno. You've got to have a really clear budget before you start. You don't want to get halfway through and figure out that you actually can't finish what you've started. So unless you've planned your budget to the T and probably added a bit more, don't even start.
Rob from Greyer Construction, you're a builder. What mistakes do you see people making?
Look guys, renovating is not easy. A lot of people think it is, and that's where they make a mistake. There's a lot of effort involved before you can actually start construction. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is that they try and live in the house. There's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't do that. There's dust, there's noise, there's staging builds, obviously affects your budget, and that's the problem that I see.
I think a lot of people probably have to live in their renovation though. I know it can be difficult. And it can create a lot of problems. But having to move out, relocate, rent something will also add a lot of money to the budget that people don't always have.
Yeah, we tick all the boxes there. We're living in our reno, we're staging builds, it's dirty, it's dusty, but it's our fifth reno. And like every other one, you just never know what it throws up. On Master the Market Weekly, we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. This is my renovation. It's like a mini block. It's been 2 years in the making, 6 months in the execution, and it's a bit of a tricky assignment because we're all living in the house together. So there's 6 of us in the family, 4 sons, and we're pretty much living and breathing dust and renovation every day of the week. But rather than just talk about it, come and have a look for yourself. Jeremy Walters from JCW Builders. I do a bit of the demo, but it's all your job to make it all come to fruition.
Yeah,
Challenges?
Challenges, I mean, every renovation is different, I suppose. This renovation in particular, the age of the building, it's in pretty good shape still, though we've got double cavity brick walls. It's hard to knock a wall out compared to a timber frame wall. Being on top of the hill, it's quite a steep slope. You know, a few deadly obstacles to get past, but apart from that, it's, you know, every renovation is different, and this one's just as same as the rest of them.
Because we're living in it, how is it for you and how is it for you and the boys?
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with sharing a toilet with 4 boys.
Yeah,
no
and a few
there
trainees.
at all. And trainees,
yeah, I mean, a pro definitely would be clients living in, seeing the day-to-day progress. So any changes that happen, we can get on them straight away before we get too far and end up costing too much money to rectify something. So, yeah, negative would be obviously the cleaning up, the dust. You know, it's got its positives and negatives, so.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Hiring a project manager or a builder means you're going to get a warranty at the end of the day. And if you're making decisions along the way, generally, if you're not making the right decisions and you have to backtrack, that second decision is generally going to cost you a lot more money if you have to do it in reverse.
Yeah, good advice. Jess, what about you? On The Block, you had to get in and do things yourself, get your hands dirty, maybe things you wouldn't normally do. So what's your advice for renovators like that?
I think the top tip there probably is to do things that you can actually do. So make sure it's realistic. Painting probably is something that everybody can do. Electrical work, not so much. But it also depends on whether you're planning to sell the property or live in it. So if you've got a little bit of time up your sleeve, you might be able to attempt other things if you're going to stay and live in the home. Some people will attempt a little bit of tiling, which is not that difficult, believe it or not.
So don't be over ambitious.
That's right, yeah, and keep it simple if you're going to sell though.
Okay, and Chris, you got some words of wisdom for us?
Yeah, financial advice is a real priority, especially if you're looking to fund the renovation through a loan. We know 22% of Australians are planning to renovate right now, and a large proportion of that is Queensland and New South Wales. So there's a lot of people out there looking to make it happen.
Well, Jess and Evan are in that boat. They're doing a lot themselves. They've saved a lot of money on their fourth reno. From seasoned renovators like yourselves, some of the lessons for people to really take heed.
Definitely do as much
as you can yourself.
Use a mix of things, like you might use a high-end tap with your IKEA cabinets in a kitchen, something like that, where you can balance out the cost of things and use more expensive things where they kind of matter. And where they don't matter, you can use a more budget item, I guess.
Some of the don'ts for people that want to renovate their home?
Just being aware of how much time things take, and also factoring in that it could take longer.
What do you reckon, if you had to put a rough number on it, you've saved yourself by doing a lot of things yourself?
Well over $100,000 in just doing a deck, a kitchen, and building in underneath the house by doing it yourself. Yeah.
So that's a great example of a good budget plan, clear financial position, translating into the reality of the renovation.
Yeah, good idea. So they make sure they don't overcapitalise. All right, let's check out what's happening in the markets.
Thanks, Bill. Well, there's good news for Brisbane's unit market, with predictions it will rebound next year. By the end of 2018, unit values are pegged to increase by 0.6% from last year, and they're expected to rise by another 6% at the close of 2019. In comparison, house values are forecast to increase by 1.5% this year and a further 2.7% next year. Queensland's strengthening economy has been credited with driving that growth, along with high interstate migration. Recent data from realestate.com.au shows residents in New South Wales have made more than 1.65 million searches for homes in the Sunshine State over the past year, with the most popular suburbs being Burleigh Heads, Surfers Paradise and Broadbeach on the Gold Coast. Back here in Brisbane, the best opportunities for capital growth can currently be found in the northern suburbs of Ferny Hills, Eatons Hill and Strathpine, where the median house price is $550,000.
Final thoughts, panel, your number one expectation versus reality when it comes to renovating? Rob?
Timeframes are definitely going to be blown. So there's some rooms that are more notorious for this, and that's kitchens and bathrooms. So if you're going to embark on these rooms, make sure you have at least a 10% buffer.
And Jess?
You need to stick to your budget. A really great way to do that is to get a few quotes for each trade. Pick the right person for the job, make sure they'll bring you in on time and on budget.
That's good advice. I think we had 4. So Chris?
Starting with a budget is important. Having a financial plan that allows for contingencies is a priority.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks to all of our panellists this week. My tip, don't build on the side of a mountain. We need mountain goats, honestly. All right, hope you can join us next week for Master the Market Weekly when we talk smart investing. See you then.